Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. Sorry we are late. You know what I mean? Apologies, man. We're moving like Sancho, but we had some technical difficulties. You know what I'm saying? To man like Bavs, cough, cough. But listen, man, it happens to the best of us. You know what I'm saying? Too. But we're here nevertheless. And yeah, rivals top minus a few people. Bro, I like Vance, webcam settings. What are you saying, man? What's
I'm used
going on?
to.
What happened? What can
Yeah,
you hear
I'm
me?
used to. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. What are you
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I'm used to having like crispy settings, and today we got some dodgy ass webcam. So I apologize. I apologize.
Nah, it's all love. It's all love, man. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. The main thing is about the content. Someone said you're stuck back in phase one now. You're back to phase one, fans. You are back to phase
Don't
one.
worry, man. We'll be with phase
And
five
that's
soon.
yeah, we're in phase five soon, man. We got a man like Charlie in the building. Charlie, what are you saying? You good?
Yeah, all good, bro. All good, mate. Glad the Prem's back. Last 2 weeks been pretty dead. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into it, mate.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And like I said, man, apologies. Drifty couldn't make it. Huey couldn't make it. Henry couldn't make it. Listen, it is what it is, people, man. I can't, what I mean, we got a show. The show must go on. That's what he's saying, man. So I still bring you the content. And yeah, man, where should we begin, man? Then we got a lot to talk about. Um, shall we talk about the Sancho situation? Even though it's a bit boring, I think for me. We've got Chelsea situation. We've got Arsenal, talks of Saka being overplayed. What are you saying, Baz? Where should we start with, Baz? Where do you wanna go?
Let's start off with the purpose of this channel, Man United. Lots happening in it. A lot of
Uh,
statements. A lot of statements to break down. I'm sure you
Yeah.
guys are bored of it at this point, but from an Arsenal side of things, it's pretty hilarious.
more statements than wins, man. That's what they're saying right now. More statements than wins. It's crazy, man. But that's 5 statements this season already. Let me ask you a question, Baz. Like, I get it, like, Manchester United are a big club and that and da 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 da, but how big of a mess is it right now, United, do you think, like looking at it from the outside?
It is a mess because I think your club lacks direction. Like, what are you guys expecting this season? Is it top four again? It's not going to fight for the title. Is it a cup competition, Champions League? So when as fans you don't know what to expect, then it becomes a bit lost. And then you've just got all your players. The fact that you got Sancho and Anthony that you spent 140 million pounds on, and they're not really worth that money. And so you're looking at that now that the statements come out. Your strikers being unfit as well. It's all a bit of a mess. And then your manager, Erik ten Hag, he's been a bit of a crybaby. As an Arsenal fan, that's what I see. Especially after the Arsenal game, the whole that was our best performance. We deserve to win or deserved a point. And I'm like, if that's your best performance, then as a United fan, I'd be very worried. I think he needs to just be held a bit more accountable from himself, not just the fans, but himself. Because I think often what we see from Ten Hag is he'll blame others, he'll blame players, or he'll blame officials or offsides or whatever. But if you want to be a top manager like Pep, these guys take responsibility. They don't always blame. I know Klopp cries a lot, but I think, one thing that I like about Arteta is he's learned from the likes of Pep that he'll just take accountability. So he'll say, look, I'm the guy in charge, you guys hit me, and blame it on me.
Mm. No, listen, I hear you, but I feel like for me, that game was one of our better games away from home. So I
Oh my
understand
God.
what he means by we had a good game plan. But I know the bar might be low, but at the end of the day, you have to
Very
still
low.
use context in it. You know what I mean? And reality is Arsenal at this minute are in a better process, as you would say. You know what I
Higher
mean? They're
phase.
probably in a higher phase. There you go. So in reality, I get what he means. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think he's under pressure. I think he's feeling the heat. I think there's a lot of things going on at the football club that he can't control. And obviously he's now feeling the brunt of it. And you know what? He actually looks like he cares. That's something that I like. But I get what you mean. He needs to take more control of what's going on in the football pitch. But again, when you look at the Sancho situation, it isn't great reading for the manager. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he's had this probably another fallout with a player. Obviously, it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Sancho probably isn't, training to the right levels. But yeah, I mean, Charlie, what are you saying, man, in terms of Man United at the minute, and the mess that is at the football club, man? Because obviously, not many news came out in the transfer. Sorry, in the international break. It was only Man United that would dominate the news. So how did it look for you on the outside of it?
I'll be careful with my criticism because things aren't too much better for us right now. But yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I just look at it and like Bav says, it is a complete mess from top to bottom. You know, the sale that should have gone through this summer doesn't look like it's going through anytime soon. And then, you know, it got, for me, it just seems like it's different standards for different players. If you look at the way that United have handled the Sancho situation for me compared to say Anthony right now, or compared to how they dealt with the Greenwood situation, like they seem to be very compassionate towards Greenwood and want to help him as much as possible. But then with Sancho, it just seems like they're trying to make an example of him, in my opinion. Now, I think the whole thing could have been kept contained much better. There was no need for Ten Hag to go public with it, and I think Sancho was well within his rights to hit back. If someone's saying you're basically calling you lazy and you don't think you are, I think you're well within your rights to do it. And, you know, Sancho, he went public with it, so Sancho's right to go public with it as well. But I think it could have been handled better. I think there obviously are question marks around Jadon Sancho. There's been murmurings about his kind of timekeeping and his attitude at times as well, at Dortmund as well. I think maybe at City when he was a lot younger as well. So, I mean, look, he feels he's being made an example of, and that's not ideal. But they need to sit down and have a chat and sort it out, because Sancho is an expensive asset to Man United in terms of the money he's on, in terms of the transfer fee you paid for him, in terms of how long you fought to actually sign him. And if we're being totally honest, he's been a massive disappointment at United. I mean, you'll know better than me, but he's not delivered what has been expected from him, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch. So we know Ten Hag draws.
I agree.
We know, he's an authoritarian. You know, he doesn't take anything. Whatever his word is, it stays. And if you don't like it, then I suppose you can leave. We've seen it with Ronaldo. We've seen it, dropping Rashford for being late to a meeting. Like, you don't cross him, whether you think he's right or wrong. Like, he will lay down the law. So, but the pressure's on him big time. You know, because you'll live or die by these decisions. So you have to get it right. And the pressure's on him now. He's got his players in. The performances haven't been good this season. The 2 wins at home didn't really deserve either of them. You still got them, so it's a little bit irrelevant. But the performance has not been good. The performance at Spurs was dreadful. The performance at Arsenal was a little bit better, but you're still losing away games, and you don't look like winning in the big away games still at this point in time. So, yeah, mate, I just say the team looks massively unbalanced, and all the stuff going off on the pitch is not going to be helpful either. So, yeah, I guess, mate, it really is just a complete mess at the end of the day.
No, I hear you, man, and you know what? It doesn't look good for Sancho, man. 3 years now, 3 years at the football club. You know what I mean? Babs, do you have any ounce of sympathy for him in terms of the way he feels like he's been scapegoated or anything like that? Because obviously, at the minute now, everybody's saying that the manager's right and whatnot. Do you think, from an outside point of view, because you don't really have no kind of favorite in this situation, but do you feel like it's a Sancho just needs to just shut up and start training, or do you think there is favoritism in Man United right now?
I think he's being ill-advised, but I'm not naive enough to realise that when you get offered, what is he on, £300,000 a week or something like that, you're going to go to that club. So United were the only team that offered the money. He accepted the money from obviously Dortmund as well. They accepted the money, they let him go. But he's at the wrong club for him. His profile isn't suited to what you want to play. This is why it's crazy. Is you look at United, right, and you want to be a bit like Man City, right? Surely that's the goal. It's to win titles, to play possession brand of football and dominate games. Ten Hag keeps saying that he wants to almost be the opposite. He wants to be transitional football, counter-attacking football. And some of your fans think that's your style of football. They think that's your heritage. I disagree and say, look, cool, that might be your heritage, but that's not going to work in the current day of football, because you need to be dominating games. And the way I saw you guys play against Arsenal at the Emirates was no different to how Forest played against Arsenal. Yeah, you had the ball in the first half, but you did nothing with the ball. Your idea is to sit back and counter-attack. That's what Fulham and Forest do, the same thing. So for that style of football, Sancho is not the best. He's not the paciest player. He's not going to counter-attack. Rashford and Anthony are somewhat better for that. Sancho needs a team that is on the ball the whole time, someone like Man City, and he's at the wrong club. So yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him, but also look, the guy's earning enough money. So there's a reason why he's at the club. And for him, I think the best step for him is to leave United, because it's toxic for him now. Managers against him, and he ain't going nowhere. Go to a club that suits your style of football, whether it's a downgrade from United in terms of wages, and then get your career back on track, because you're not playing to your strengths, and you're not going to change your team for him either. So what's the point of staying?
Do you think he's finished, Said, at United? Do you think he can come back from this?
I think his days are numbered. Yeah, I think for me, it's over now because I just don't see how the relationship gets repaired. I don't think it's it's repairable. I think ultimately, you know what I mean, both of them are hit crossroads. Both of them are being stubborn. You know what I mean. So, end of the day, man, it's best that he moves on. But he should have moved on in the summer. You know what I mean? He should have really moved on in the summer. But again, who's paying them wages? Like Bath said, it's a lot of money, you know, for them wages. Right now at the football club, he reduces his wages when he does move, and also what is his actual price tag? You're probably looking at around 50 million now for Jadon Sancho, if that. I
50
mean,
mil.
No, I reckon.
50 mil, if
I reckon he could be 40 mil, like similar to Cole Palmer, maybe around 42.5 million pounds.
Boy, that's mad. That's mad. But you know what? You're probably right in that aspect because. But he's 23, still young, he's still got time. But like I said to you, 4 minutes. Like, what are you basing your fee on? You're basing potential. Well, obviously, he's had potential at Dortmund.
Yeah.
What are you basing your fee on? Is it what you've provided me before? I don't know. What is it?
Like, let's look at Kai Havertz for example. Potential player, didn't work out at Chelsea, and also ended up paying £65 million for him, right? With Sancho, like the reason why I don't see that happening from a club like Arsenal or something like that is because all the murmurs behind the scenes of attitude problems. With Havertz, no one really says much about his attitude. They think he works hard, trains hard, cool, perfect. Sancho is a very good player, but is he a very good character? I'm not going to say he is or not because I don't know him personally. But when you hear all of this stuff, the top clubs nowadays, they look at the player profile as much as the person himself. And they go, right, he's a good player. When he's firing, he's a very good player. But then I could see him going back to like a Dortmund or something. A loan, obligation to buy, something like that, get your career back on track, and then maybe in a couple of years' time he comes up to the Premier League. But he's 23, he's got time on his side. There's no need to worry about his career. At United, I think he's done.
Do you think you'd loan him out in January, mate? Like, do you think you could loan him in January, maybe?
Well, he has to. You know what I mean? He has to do something. He can't just keep him here. You know what I mean? Because there's no point. You know, what are you going to do with him? At Man United right now, there's nothing you can do with him. So, yeah, training on his own. You know, so I don't think there's any point in keeping him in here. You know what I mean? He's training on his own right now. He's in the bad books. You know what I mean? People say that he should have went to Saudi. He was never going to go to Saudi. You know what I mean? No. Let's be honest.
Not at his age.
I was hearing Nottingham Forest today. Apparently, maybe it was a club.
He's not fallen that far. He's not fallen that far.
Forest, you know, but again, that's mad.
Are you remembering who this player is?
Yeah.
Go back to 2020. JS7. He's coming.
Yeah.
Sancho's happening.
Yeah.
Here we go. Fabrizio Romano is getting bombarded every single day. Is it happening? Is it happening? And then Here We Go came out. Everyone is gassed. All the compilations of the Avengers Assemble. Varane's been signed. Sancho's been signed. Ronaldo's been signed. Football can change quickly, but he's not going to Nottingham Forest. He's a much better player than that. Yeah. He just needs to be in a possession-based system, which you guys should be, by the way. Let's not act like you shouldn't be that. But for whatever reason, your manager thinks, Casemiro, Bruno, and Mount's going to work. And I'm going to, dominate games like that. So I think, as much as Sancho, obviously, I don't know what he's done behind the scenes, with Erik ten Hag, he needs to be careful because I can sense there's some United fans that are looking at him differently now. Don't know about yourself, Saeed, but I have seen some United fans go, oh, Ten Hag might not be the guy. He needs to start giving fans an ideology. This is how we play football. And it can't just be counter-attacking football because what we saw against Arsenal was the same thing that Forest did against Arsenal and Fulham did against Arsenal. And that can't work when you spend what you spend. So Højlund needs to be a game changer. He needs to be I want to actually make things happen because someone just said that he dominated possession, but what do you do with the ball? It was in your own half the whole time. So if anything, I'll be honest, Arteta disrespected Man United. And people will say it's the opposite because they said, oh, he's respecting United. I think he's the opposite. He realised that you guys are that bad on the ball at making things happen. Have it. What are you going to do with it?
No, but I hear that because I seen Arteta's game plan. It was a lot to kind of let United have the ball, and obviously, then nullify them when they need to in that aspect. And the game was pretty much it was a dead game anyway. To be honest with you, for large parts, and obviously Arsenal found their rhythm when they got this
great ending.
Oh, obviously, great ending, of course. But you know what? Let me ask you a question though. If anyone was to come into the Premier League right now, who would he suit the most? Like Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Tottenham.
I said Tottenham. I think Tottenham would be a good club.
Any club, any team that wants to dominate games of football, as in they want to be the team on the front foot, I think would be a perfect. Arsenal. If we had Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, he'd be a perfect Arsene Wenger player. He'd make him like a Nasri type of player, where he's not really rapid, but he just maximises his profile of that. But yeah, any team like Tottenham, I think Tottenham's the best example. Will they pay his wages? A London team, he's a London boy. He ain't going Chelsea. I don't think he's going to Arsenal.
I would have taken him, but we got too many players, so I don't see that happening.
You take anyone, don't it?
It can never be. Yeah, well,
exactly.
It can never be. It can never be
Chelsea
ruled out.
Academy.
Can't
Brighton's that would be a good shout. If he's sensible, if he wants them talking football sensible, obviously not financially, Brighton would be a great move.
Brighton, damn.
What him?
Would he
him
want to go down a level though?
You could have him. And
Hey, is Brighton a downgrade though in terms of footballing quality right now? Brighton are a top team.
Football quality, yeah, but to win trophies, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, trophies, yeah, but
have the high wages as a footballing, you know what I mean? Sponsorships, everything,
yeah,
man.
But you can't.
Listen, it is a downgrade because footballers are only not just based on trophies now. They want everything that comes with it.
But you have to see it as one step back, two steps forwards. You can't just hope that Man City is going to come in for you. No clubs that are bigger than Man United will come with Sancho, and if they do, I'll be surprised. But obviously, we've seen it in the past. Like, I saw it in the summer with Havertz. I didn't expect him to sign for Arsenal, and he signed out of nowhere. So it's possible, but I think Brighton would be a great move for
him. Listen, I don't know, man. But when I look at it, man, in terms of, you know what I mean, the flops of, he's up there, man. 72 million, he's up there with one of the flops in the last 5-10 years, man. You know what I mean? He's there. Obviously, I don't know how long he's got left in it, but he is definitely up there, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's wild, man, when you deep it. And obviously, Anthony's out as well, you know, in a minute. So we are going to rely on Pellistri. You know what I mean? Let me ask you a question. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, how many of those big signings that United have made, Pogba, Sancho, Anthony, actually worked out?
Well, Anthony's
looking at Lukaku as well. Yeah. Was that 80, 75 mil?
Yeah, that was a flop as well. But to be fair, yeah, the first good season, he flopped last season.
So I don't know, man. Maybe it's a club.
I'm trying to think. No, but it is a club though. When you deep it though, because the club's buying players that don't really fit the philosophy, and you know a lot of them. That's why Ten Hag now is only trying to find his way of doing things. But when you look at it, that's when you don't have a football structure. You don't have like a Man City like example. You know, Man City have got structure where they have the guys at the top, and then they work together with Guardiola and they find their players. Don't get me wrong, Guardiola's had flops, but he's then managed it well. You know, he's then. You know what I mean? Like he's had Phillips for no reason, just sat there. But then it's like he's got Kovacic straight away, and that's made it better. Like
you get the benefit of doubt when you're winning.
Yeah, you get the benefit of doubt when you're winning, of course, 100%. And this is why Arsenal maybe are in a crossroads season this season where they brought Havertz in when did they really need him? You know what I mean? So they're in that kind of crossroad as well. So time will tell with that situation. You know what I mean? So it's difficult, but Ten Hag, like I said to you, he's still under pressure for me, man, this season in terms of he has to play better football and we have to finish high as we can. It's as simple as that. So I expect for me the basics of Man United and still I want us to compete. They shouldn't all these side distractions, don't get me wrong, are well and truly not his fault, but we still have to face focus. So we still have to remain focused and we still have to play better football and finish as high as we can. I'm not having anything different. I really am not.
Sorry, just quickly, are you worried that like more players are going to fall out with him because it was Ronaldo and then it's Sancho? Like, do you feel like it's going to be someone else next, and this is going to be a recurring thing? Do you feel like there's like a fundamental problem within the squad? Like, is Ten Hag actually got grip of the squad?
No, I think for me, it's about the culture, innit? I think Ten Hag wants to build a culture where, you know what, nobody's above the manager. Everybody has to stick by the rules. I think similar to Arteta in terms of now, I feel like Arteta's got manager squad now where he's took out all the bad eggs. You know, you're looking at Aubameyang. You're looking at who else did he fall out with? Pepe. How many players did he fall out? Ozil. There you go. Like so many players that he fell out with, and then
very
just bang,
rarely did he throw them under the bus. Ten Hag's that like even Pepe has left the club now. He doesn't have any loyalties anymore. But even he said today, he's like Pepe was a top character, work hard behind the scenes, but didn't work out. That's one thing I like about Arteta is he's always, for his players, he holds accountability. He rarely throws them under the bus unless they need to be, where it's like a performance on the pitch and it's been disgraceful. And even then, I haven't seen it. Often he'll go, my tactics were at fault. It was my choice, so you got to blame me for it. And I think Ten Hag needs to learn that, which is crazy because he's got so much more experience than Arteta. But it seems like sometimes whether it's an ego thing, he don't want to admit that he's wrong, or stubborn or whatever, but you can't keep throwing players under the bus at Man United because you will always sign superstars, meaning you will always have ego personalities, and you got to deal with that. He's not at a club where it's full of humble little players that you can mess about, like maybe a Spurs, for example, because those players are not as high, you know, in terms of, let's talk about egos. You got players that have egos. You got Varane, World Cup winning, you know, of course you're going to have ego. So you got to learn a way to deal with that, and you need to be a manager off the field as much as you're on the field. But with Sancho, I don't know, man. I feel sorry for him. I do.
Well, listen, man. I don't think there's a time to feel sorry for anyone, man. When you look at these footballers, you have to perform, man. You got to
Yeah,
perform, man, and you know what? You got to have consistency. I think when you don't have them two, it's difficult for me to back him. I'll always say to him, you know what? Good luck on that, and I'll never feel a certain type of way to a player. But you know what? You got to kick on, man. This is your career now. Don't waste it. Simple as that.
yeah.
Big up to everybody here. Make sure you guys are liking the video, people, man. If you haven't liked the video already, I don't know what you're doing. Hit the like button, the algorithm. Let's get the algorithm up. Um, Chelsea, Pochettino. You know what, man? A lot of people are not talking about Chelsea, man. I think they're getting under the radar. I feel like for me, yeah. I think if they lose to Bournemouth tomorrow, I think it'll be crisis at Chelsea. If you not lose to Bournemouth tomorrow, that means you will have only one win out of 5. Is
Yeah,
it?
one win from the first 5. Yeah.
That's mad, guys. People are not deep in Chelsea, man. Like, I get we're in trouble, but Chelsea, I'm hearing that Pochettino still might play him left wing, Chilwell, and it could be a situation where he still could play there. But boy, man, he is under pressure, man, already. And that's just crazy to think that he should be under pressure when it's 4 or 5 games in. But I feel like something is brewing there. And if they don't win tomorrow, it's another, it's
They've
another
got
big issue,
tomorrow.
man.
We've got
Bournemouth away, which is it?
Yeah,
Bournemouth
Sunday.
away. That's a sticky game for you guys, isn't it?
Sticky, man, sticky.
I mean, they've not won yet this season, so I mean,
Historically for Chelsea, though.
yeah, it'll be tough. We haven't got the best record there. Obviously, we won there last season under Lampard. That was his only win. We managed to win there.
They were safe though by then. They were safe by then, weren't they?
Yeah, so and we were as well. So it was a good day out. Yeah, mate, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Like I look at the games, right? We absolutely should have more points on the board. No two ways about it. But like, yeah, I'm concerned by some things. But like, I think we're just missing putting a full performance together in terms of we've had like good moments. We've had like good sort of 30 minutes. We've had good 40s. We've had good hours. We're just missing a complete performance. Like, I know the only stat that matters is the scoreline, but if you look at some of the underlying stats from the first 4 games, like we do have the highest average possession, most touches inside the opposition box, and all that sort of thing. But so there are patterns of play developing, but at the same time, we build up nicely. We do create half decent chances. Same problem. We can't put the ball in the back of the net. We've missed the most big chances in the league this season, as well as creating the most big chances. So, that kind of sums up where we're at right now. Defensively, I don't worry about us too much. I think we're pretty solid. We were pretty solid last season, despite all the games we lost. The midfield, it's got a better balance to it now. Once Enzo and Caicedo get more acquainted with one another, that should become a top partnership, hopefully. Going forwards, I don't want to. Yeah, it's a problem in terms of we've got a lot of all the players other than Sterling. You've got no idea what you're going to get from them because they're all developing. They're all young. So like some weeks they'll be good, other weeks they'll be shit. Whereas Sterling, you kind of know what you're going to get on a consistent basis from him. And I think that's the problem Chelsea have got outside of maybe Thiago Silva, Sterling, Enzo to an extent. Now you don't know what you're going to get from any of these guys because they're so young, they're still developing and they're inexperienced. You just don't know what you're going to get from them. And I think that partly is a problem as well. When you watch other teams, you sort of know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get from an Arteta Arsenal side. You know what you're going to get from Man City. You know what you're going to get from a Klopp Liverpool team. Right now, you don't know what you're going to get from a Pochettino Chelsea team because one, it's a completely new team, and two, we don't have a lot of experienced players. And young players are like one of the big trademarks is inconsistencies, and that's what we've seen at the start of this season. There's been a lot of inconsistencies, and I've been frustrated by it, and fans have been like, pissed off about it. But what do we expect when you sign this many young players and this is your strategy? Then we're going to get inconsistent performances, and they'll be good for a couple of games, and then they'll go missing and be poor for maybe 3 games. That's what it's like to be a young player. So we've kind of taken the risk that we hope these guys are going to reach the potential that we expect from them. But this is like, it's exciting, but it's a massive gamble as well. It's a huge gamble because, a couple might work out, but equally there's a chance that none of them work out. You just don't know. I mean, Mudrik's the same age as the likes of Saka and Martinelli, but he, in terms of his footballing experience, he's miles down. He hasn't even played. I think he's played 50 senior games of football. That's not a lot at all. And 10 of those appearances have been at Chelsea. So Like he's hardly played football. So like I'm not surprised that we're struggling. Yes, we should absolutely have more points on the board, but it's difficult. It is difficult for us at this point in time, and like I feel like we're quite easy to play against because if you score the first goal against us right now, I've got no confidence in us winning the game. The best we're going to get is a draw because we can't break teams down, particularly teams that sit deep behind the ball, like Forest, for example. They got the first goal. We made a bit of a mistake. Mate, we couldn't break them down. We moved the ball too slowly. We allow the teams to get back into their defensive shape, and then it's really hard to break a side down when they do that. So, look, I think we'll be better away from home because teams will come out and try and play a little bit more. So I think we'll be slightly better away from home. But look, it's not
the balance for me. It's the balance, I think, in the team. And obviously, you've got a lot of superstars, a lot of players. But the problem is for me, though, is the Chilwell at left wing. You know what I mean? I don't know what I read the quotes here. He said something about the fact that he played there for England, and you know what? It's not it's not as bad as what people are saying. So he said here basically. Let me just read it out to you here. He goes, Ben is a fullback, I know, but he can help a team in a different position. In animation, I think Ben in 4 games created more chance than anyone else, In the national team last week, I think Ben played in a similar position. So I don't know, man. When you look at it, like, I go to you, Daps, man. Like I don't know. Like, do you reckon he's going to be stubborn, like, with this situation? Because, bro, I don't know why he just don't want to play the forwards. Is it not the fact that you don't trust the forwards? Like, you don't trust Mundrick, you don't trust them, man? Like, what are you saying, Babs?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's still trying to learn about his team. He's still trying to find out what's the best combination and stuff. When you got so many players available, that's what happens. The concern for him is when you spend that much money, Bowley will have pressure on him because I'm pretty sure Chelsea are run by investment firms as well, right? So it's not just Bowley's money.
Yeah.
It's also investment firms, and those guys want dividends. They want money back. And when they see how you're performing and you're on course right now for a bottom half finish, obviously it's not going to happen, but on course for it right now, it's a concern. Poch is meant to be the guy that stabilizes it. He's got time, he's got potential for it. But Chelsea, it's weird because they need instant results, but they've invested in potential, which is weird because if you're going to invest in potential, you're going to have to go through some tough spells. And you were the 12th is a tough spell, but it might have to be another year of just out of the top 6, which is crazy because that should not happen with the money you spend. And it might work out in 3-4 years, and we look back at it in 2 years' time, and it's like, wow, okay, Mudrik's amazing, and he's amazing, and it might work out. But right now, it's a bit of a sticky one. So, look, I wouldn't be too concerned with Chelsea, as Charlie pointed out. The underlying numbers are decent, so it's on track for it. But I think right now it's just things are going against them, and your forwards cannot finish. I mean, I saw the miss for Nicholas Jackson, and maybe it's a Chelsea thing at this point because Havertz didn't work out, Werner didn't work out. So what was the good striker he had was Diego Costa. And now you got
6 years ago that we haven't had anyone.
You got Jackson right now, who I'm pretty sure is pretty good finisher at Villarreal, and he's coming and he can't score. Or he scored 1 goal, I think, is it? So yeah, I don't know, man, but I wouldn't be too concerned. Depends on what your concerns are. Will Chelsea get top 6 or top 5, which is what you need for Champions League football? They should do with the money they spent. And look, they're going to spend more. It ain't stopping, by the way. These guys ain't going to stop. Because when it gets to January, expect 5-6 more here we goes. Every fan gets excited again. Oh yeah, it's happening again.
Well, here we
Chelsea
go.
fans, I've realised one thing is that every time the club that wins the transfer window always ends up flopping. Remember last year, Spurs won the transfer window, and look what happened to them. And now Chelsea won the transfer window, and it seems like what happens is fans' expectations get really high, and they feel like something's going to happen, and then out of nowhere.
Facts.
So, yeah, it is what it is. Even United the year before that, when he won Sancho, Varane, Ronaldo, everything's going to be amazing.
That was the Prem winning window, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then Arsenal before that as well, we signed Pepe, and we signed, I think it was a few other players like that. Arsenal had a great window, they're going to get top 3, and we flopped. I think what it is fans get too excited by transfers and don't realise that these players need time to adapt. And with high expectations, you're going to have high, expectations to win games of football. And when they don't work out, it's going to start some questions of sacks, get him out. Yeah, that's what's happening in January now. It'll be Tony, or it'll be Ferguson, or it'll be Osimhen. Your fans are just, at this point, you want transfers more than wins of games of football. I'm telling you, because that's what happens. And Bowley's clever, Bowley's realises, ask any fan whose team's using games of football, what do you need to do? They also sign some players.
Signings,
yeah. Just want signings. That's all it is. Every window we need 5 players. It's transfers are the fact. That's what fans cope with. It's transfers. If a team has a really bad season, when the moment you sign one big player, your fans forget straight away.
More, like I said to you, more here we goes and then wins, man. You know, when you look at it, man.
Yeah.
For Chelsea, this calendar year, how many wins have you got, Chelsea? This calendar year,
Mate, it's not many. It's not many.
does anybody know in the chat, people? How many wins
I
Chelsea
don't
have
know,
got?
mate. It'll be less than
They
10.
beat Bournemouth. They beat Luton.
We beat AFC Wimbledon in the cup as well.
No.
We'll throw that one in.
Okay, cool.
Premier League.
Premier League.
Let's look at it
Bournemouth
all.
is one, and then you got Luton, and who else?
Oh, we beat Leicester in the league.
You beat Leicester. That's 3. Okay, you got
beat
3.
Leicester.
20 in the year 2023. I'm gonna just check if it's.
Right, it's not many, mate. I think it could be 5 or 6 tops. I can't even remember them.
Jeez.
So
And I still see Chelsea fans tweeting. Yo, 4
so
wins in the calendar year.
yeah, literally. I'm just looking at it here now.
Is it more than 4 side? It must be.
So they lost. So they won against Crystal Palace on the 15th of January. Then they won against Leeds, Borussia Dortmund, and Leicester. That's 4.
3 wins in a week. That was
5 wins in 2023.
Was it not under Graham Potter as well?
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there was.
Should've
Yeah,
trusted the
so
process.
5 wins in 2023.
Yeah,
You know
three
how
of them
mad
as
that
well.
is, guys. 5 wins.
Yeah,
People
it's
say
bad.
6.
And how many in the league?
Is it 6 then? Oh yeah, one more this season. Yeah, one more this
Luton.
season. Yeah, so yeah,
Luton this season.
Luton. Okay, 6
It's
wins.
It's be 4
Is
in the
mad.
league. Yeah, 4 in the league then.
Yeah, but no one talks about it. No one talks about it. That's why I find
Oh,
the
we are
most.
now.
No, but we're talking about it.
That's
But
mad.
again, the main focus will be United. That's what people care about the most.
Yeah, that's
Or
what I'm
be
saying.
someone else.
The main
Might be
focus
Spurs
will
and the
be
manager.
United.
I think what it is with Chelsea is
it's-
people just expect
Yeah.
them to just win again somehow. They'll just turn back into Chelsea of Abramovich and win the Champions League because they did it before. I think what Chelsea fans need to realise is that's not guaranteed in football now. When you've got so many better run institutions like Man City who are just going to clean everything up. So it's not like before where United or didn't have the money and Ferguson was kind of working his magic, but that was about it.
Yeah.
You've got Man City who are rich, spend money, have the best manager, the best players, the best striker. So you're not going to be that team anymore. I mean, how long has it been since Chelsea won a league title?
Maybe I'm gonna-
2016,
20 Yeah, Conte.
16, 17. Now,
Yeah.
Chelsea of old, that would have been crazy to hear. If you told Chelsea fans in 16, 17, that's your last title for like God knows how long, you wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
We've been
Mad,
nowhere
when
near
you deep
either.
it, yeah.
Nowhere near. Like domestically, I know we won Champions League and Club World Cup and stuff and Super Cup and all
Yeah.
that, but domestically, we've won nothing since the last domestic trophy was the FA Cup in 2017 when we beat United in the final under Conte. So, you look at that and it's
Yeah, like that. Your season's dead like that. Just the way his camera died is the way Charlie is, man. You know what I'm saying to you? That sums up there. Yeah, there you go. You're back now. But it just sums up, for me, like when I look at Chelsea and I'm like, you've got all these players now, yeah. But I still think, I think the manager, the fans will turn on this manager. I've just got this feeling that it's brewing in it. Like it's with Potter. I don't think anybody embraced or envisaged, that he would be sacked. But when did he get sacked by? Was it what year was
March.
March. It was this year, mate.
It was March. I'm pretty sure March.
it? Yeah, March.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, that was crazy, man. And I don't know how he never got sacked early on because you were still in dire straits.
They wanted to give him
before
the time. They wanted to give him as much time as possible to turn it around. But if the fan reaction and the atmosphere in the stadium and that hadn't been as bad as it was, they would have kept him on. I think they just got a point where they actually couldn't keep him because you can put up with some bad results if you can see signs of improvement on the pitch.
Signs of improvement.
There was no signs of improvement. We were just shit every week. Didn't look like getting better at all. So, yeah, he had to go. Look, I do think under Pochettino, who is a good manager, I do think we will get there eventually. I think Chelsea will win again. The biggest problem is I don't know if that's in 2 years or it's in 5 years.
No.
That's the thing. You don't know when it's going to be.
You think so? Man said, "Do you think so?"
Do you mean win something or win a game of football? I'm confused.
Well, both.
'Cause I was going to say 2 years for a win of football is quite long.
No. I think in the next couple of years, I think we can win a trophy. I don't know what. I'll take a Carabao Cup right now just to get the ball rolling again, and then go from there. But realistically, Who's really going to win the league off City in the next couple of years? Like, do we
think-
Arsenal.
think?
Arsenal.
Yo, clip that up, bro. Clip that up.
Man.
Where's skullduggery? But what I was gonna say is, I think with Chelsea is more your fans need to understand as well now is you can't just spend money and think that does it. That's gonna work out. There needs to be a proper strategy and year by year progression. With Chelsea, it keeps changing. So you went from Koulibaly, Aubameyang, Sterling to then all these young players. You got to stick by it now, and you've got to slowly, progressively get slightly older players that can help those. But I don't know what the plan is. That's the worst thing, and that's why your fans are a bit confused right now. They're clouded. What do I expect to win a title? Because you spent money to win a title, but now we're hearing top 6 would be a good season.
Just need
That's
to get
crazy.
Champions League. I think Champions League.
That's crazy. There's cheaper ways to get Champions League football. I'll tell you that for a fact.
We have to get Champions League football this season. I've always said this season we have to get it. Whether we do, it's not too late now, but we can't afford to drop too many more points because, as you say, the league's so competitive now. There's not just like a few teams going for those Champions League places. There's legitimately about 8 or 9 teams that could get in the Champions League places. So you start dropping points. Like, you don't want to give those teams too much of a head start. And already 1 win in 4, like, you're already on the back foot.
Yeah. What happened to the title charge shouts that I was hearing? No, about the dark horses, Chelsea.
Not
Not from yourself, obviously. I understand.
No,
Just what I'm saying. I was being told in the preseason predictions, Chelsea are the ones to watch. Chelsea, they're back. They got Poch now.
Shout out to Charlie though. Today you was at the training ground, weren't you?
Yeah, I went to the training ground. I was at the training ground today. Yeah, mate. But to be fair, the boys, the training was decent. Like, they looked good. But I mean, obviously, it's what happens on the pitch and that. But yeah, no, mate, it was a good little day at the training ground. But yeah, mate, we just need the performances on the pitch. We need the performances on the pitch.
I don't know why you don't smile, man. Why are you not smiling? Like,
mate, it was so.
The players are happy to meet him, obviously, and that's what it is.
Yeah, the players are happy to meet him. Yeah, just a few fans, isn't it?
That's what it looks like, isn't it? It's like they're the fans.
He's the one. They're the fans. Yeah, he's
like, yo, get me out of here, man. I'm sick of this.
There we go. The fans, mate. A few fans coming down, but yeah, no, mate. It was decent. You know, it was a good. I mean, I've never been to a training ground before, so you know, it was good fun. Good fun. So hopefully, mate, we can. Hopefully, we can win. We just need. Like, I don't want to say luck, but like, we just need something to fall for us. I think this will click, but the biggest worry is, as Baz was saying, like, when's it going to click? Like, it could be. Yeah. It could be this. It could be at some point in this season, or it could take 2 or 3 seasons to click. That's the problem. How patient are the owners going to be?
Trust the process.
Or the fans. Mate, we're going to have to do a lot of trusting.
Trust the process.
Trust the process, eh? Trust the process. I'm going to ask you a question. What's your score prediction, Charlie, tomorrow or Sunday actually? Because I'm going Chelsea just to win, but bro, I don't know, man. I'd be real with you.
They will. They have to.
I think we'll just win. I think I'll go for a 2-1. I think it will be close though, but I think we just about get over the line.
I'm gonna say 1-0 Chelsea.
Yeah.
1-0 Chelsea. Down.
They need that. Anyway. It's like when we beat Norwich all those years ago, when there were like 3 defeats in a row at the start of the season. Chelsea beat us, City beat us, and Brentford beat us.
You as well, yeah.
And then we had just a jammy 1-0 against Norwich. That was at home though, but point is it's the same.
Okay. And obviously the main kind of people here, Arsenal.
Yeah, that's correct. The main people. Yes, go on.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, because a lot of people have been saying about Saka, injury and overplayed. Like, where do you think if people are overreacting? What? Because obviously he's played a lot of games. How many games has he played in a row, by the way, Saka? Like, in terms of for Arsenal,
something like in the league, I think it's something like 50. He's played a part in 50. Not started, but started most, obviously. But played a part in 50. Because I don't think he started. There was 1 game he didn't start last season. But he's always available. And we talk about, injuries and stuff and burnout. It's possible. But nowadays, look at Rodri. The guy plays every single game. And you're talking about a winger. This is a midfielder who's going everywhere. We're talking defence and attack. And he starts every game. So I think, look, can we find a better, backup for Saka? Of course we can. And they're looking for that, obviously. But it's very hard to sign a backup player and go, Bukayo Saka's in front of you, and you're not going to start any game because this guy's always fit. He's always available. He's always working hard. He's scoring goals, getting assists. So that's what it is. So you can go and spend. Say if we had signed Diaby in the summer, why would Diaby come to Arsenal, sit on the bench, or go to Villa and be a star?
Exactly. It's difficult, man. 85 Premier League games in a row. That's mad.
Yeah,
That
the
is
That's
guy's a machine.
absolutely mad.
He's a machine, and I've
He's a
not seen
machine,
him.
but it's
only
also
22,
you
isn't
don't want
he?
to burn him out,
22.
man.
You don't want to burn him out, of course you don't. But again, he's just so good. So what, you take him out of the team? Because if you don't start a game and also to win the game, fans will start saying, "Why is he on the bench?"
Yeah, I get that. I get that in terms of, you know what, and also he's played that again. He's a star boy. He's the main
Yeah,
guy. He's just signed a new contract. You know what I mean? It's difficult, but then it's like I feel like it's like one of them where you lose him out for a while, and then you're screwed. So why not just
yeah,
give
of
him?
course.
But like Champions League, do you not have like a plan? Like because now you play 2 games a week
Oh
now.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you probably
yeah.
didn't
But
play him last season in the Europa League or whatnot. But you now
no,
have to play him.
he was playing Europa League.
Or
The guy,
was he?
he don't rest. He don't
Wow,
rest. And fans will see it as Arteta's just putting
that's
him in there.
wild.
But the guy, it could be Bako. It could be him like going, I don't want to sit on the bench. I want to start. That guy's playing football. Footballers only get 10 years of a career. And that's it.
Yeah,
And then after that,
that's
you're a
true.
manager or you're a pundit. But your peak of your career is 10 years. Your entire life, most likely. Why would you sit on
Yeah.
the bench? Why would you want to sit on the bench when you've got the energy for it? Because footballers nowadays got better recovery, better regimes, better diets. Everything's better. So if he's fit and available, and it's not like, how often do you see Saka play? You feel like he's tired, or you feel like he's burnt out.
True.
You don't.
True. That's true as well. Yeah. No, you're spot on. I get, but then again, I'm like, again, Reece Nelson is not knocking on the door for him to do that. You know what I mean? Again, he's
Yeah.
not. Again, ultimately, he's
Yeah, but
impactful. Like he scores goals. Saka. He just
happened to Smith? What's happened to Smith Rowe, mate?
yeah, I think Smith Rowe he was unlucky with injuries, and since then, Arteta needs to trust the player, especially in tough moments. He needs to trust the players will work out. And Smith Rowe is a player
Yeah.
that he obviously with injuries hasn't given the opportunity. His last goal was against Chelsea back in 2022. His last start was against Newcastle in that day as well. So I think with Smith Rowe, it's just that his best position is taken by Martin Odegaard, in my opinion at least. And he ain't going to take Odegaard off in a game that we're chasing. Odegaard's going to start most games because he's the captain as well. So it's just about, we've got so many players in that position. Fabio Vieira, Havertz, Odegaard. Is Smith Rowe better than any of those? People will say he's better than Havertz or Vieira, but they're different profiles. And there's a reason why Arteta don't start him, because he normally gives players chances anyways.
Has he played this season any minutes at all, Smith Rowe?
Smith Rowe's had a cameo in the Community Shield.
That's it.
But I'm not worried. I'm not worried because the reason why is because we got mad games coming up. Champions League on Wednesday, Sunday we got Everton, and vice versa. So we'll have games for those players, and season is long. And what a player that's not starting now, give it till March, and he might have started a few more games. And they go, okay, I see the plan now. I see the vision for this player. So I'm not going to make a judgment on him. But if I'm Smith Rowe and I'm not getting any minutes till January, I might push for a loan move.
yeah. I agree. But again, I'm looking at even Trossard, man. Man's banging out
Yeah.
goals for. Bro, you
Belgium.
see what he's doing for Belgium?
Top
Trossard,
Baller,
yeah.
man.
I don't know
But you
why.
see that?
Again, like I said to you, yeah,
Who
I've
does he
seen
start
it.
over?
He's a player that I don't know. Havertz for me, man.
Yeah, Havertz, you could say. But look, that's the quality we have. This is why I think Arsenal can push City the most. Because we've got players like Trossard, Smith Rowe, Vieira, and Trossard, Smith Rowe. We didn't even use Trossard or Smith Rowe against United. They've used them.
Yeah, I see. I know.
Because we had Jesus and Vieira come
know.
on. It's squad depth, man. I've waited for this for years. I'm not going to take it for granted now. Fans think that
No,
you can't.
that's true.
Yeah, you got to
That's
have
true as
players
well.
like this, man. And there's players that City had last year that played nothing in the first half of the season. And then they come out of nowhere. Phil Foden has been a bench player for like 3-4 years. No one says anything.
That's
But he
fair.
provides. But the problem is, it's then Arteta's. Because I look at Arteta and I think one of his like naiveties is that
Yeah.
he doesn't have, for me, man management skills. I think sometimes when there's injuries going on or he overplays players or certain times doesn't know when to sub players on. And I think the game against Anfield was a big example of he took off. Who did he take off that I thought wasn't a good idea? There was one player he took off,
Take off.
and I thought to myself,
He
and they
brought
put
on
on Kivior. He
Kivior.
brought on Kivior. Yeah, like that for me didn't make
Yeah.
sense. I thought that kind of game, Jorginho probably would have been
Yeah.
kind of most likely. But
Who
again,
did
he
he take
didn't
off
do
there?
that. So
He took someone off.
he took off somebody else. I don't know who he took off. People, let me know in the chat. But he did bring
take off
on
Jesus.
Kivior.
Yeah, he took off like one of your fair
Forward.
attackers
Yeah.
when you were like
Took off
when you were
Jesus,
two
I
up
think.
or something. Yeah.
No, it wasn't 2 up. It was 2-1 at the time.
2-1,
Liverpool
yeah.
were banging on the door in that second half. So I can't remember who for. But you're right. Arteta's not perfect. He needs to improve in certain aspects. But they're very little aspects. There's things that he can address, he will address, and he's learning. But I think this year you're gonna see more rotations. We've seen already. The Trossard started against Fulham. Then Nketiah started against United, so he's doing that already. The players will get starts. Smith Rowe is one of the only players I think hasn't been given enough chances, but again, you got to earn it. You can't just get a chance for no reason. You need to earn it. You need to show me in training something different, something better. And once you do that, I'm sure Mikel will give him opportunity. And if he doesn't, then again, it will be unfair on him, and the player needs to force a move away.
Babs, how are you feeling about Everton on the weekend though? Because I was having a little look earlier. I mean, I didn't realise Arsenal hadn't won there since 2017. No. It's been like a bad. Yeah. It's been a bad
How
place
is that
to go.
even possible? But before that, you were winning every year, though, weren't you?
Yeah, Everton's one of the teams we smash normally. But apart from the year where they had Leighton Baines and Coleman and Lukaku as a left wing, ripped us apart one year. But I think what it is obviously we had one game under Emery. He lost that 1-0, some jammy goal, I think it's called. It's just been jammy wins for them. Like even the year before last, where Demarais Gray scored in the last minute.
Oh, it was a screamer as well.
6 a long shot. It's just been like we go to their game, and it's always in the wrong time for us. We've kind of lost the game before, or something's happened before, and kind of it falls apart. This time we're going with good form. Everyone's fit and available, obviously apart from Thomas Partey. Everyone else is fit and available. We've got players stronger, big players. Havertz 6'4", Rice 6'2". So the physicality's there. All we've got to do is smash them and take them apart. I want to see a statement, but I know that we're not going to make statements like we should do until we click into place. This might be the game, it might not be. A win is all I want right now. 3 points, that'll be 4 wins out of 5. Keep it going, man. Keep it moving. Invincibles, here we come.
Yeah. Is Jesus the number one? Is he number one now, or is it who do you prefer? Nketiah or Jesus? You prefer Jesus over Nketiah?
Jesus is a pleasure to watch. He's Eddie's a top pro, great character, and I love his mentality. But watching Jesus play against United, bro, that's what I want from my striker. That's me personally. Some people want the efficient goal scoring machine that just sits there in the box and taps it in. Cool. But what Jesus offers my team is football. He plays football like football should be played. Taking players on, leaving players on their asses, Delo, and putting it into the back of the net. So look, does he score as many goals? We talk about last year. He scored 11 league goals or something like that.
But he's never been prolific.
And that was having missed 3-4 months. So imagine he had stayed fit. He could have easily got 15 goals. And that would have been a very good return for his first season because he would have assisted Saka and Martinelli, made them better, and scored goals. But Eddie can start, Jesus can start. We're both are very good strikers. I don't think either is that much clear, though I think Jesus is slightly clear.
Yeah. Now, listen, I think for me, Jesus is a good striker. Whether he's a good finisher or not is a different situation that he has to work on. You know what I mean, and whatnot. But again, he facilitates for others. He facilitates for others. That's what he gives you, innit? But it could be a situation where when injuries come into it, you can play Jesus on the right and then play someone in the middle. You know what I mean? So there is options out there for him. But I don't know, with Arsenal, I've not been convinced by Arsenal this season. I still think they haven't played great football. But you know what? You're still, 10 out of 12?
Yeah.
It's not bad. Could be worse. Could be us.
I think it
was us around here.
Yeah, it was a pundit that said that. I think it was Gary Neville, I'm not quite sure. He said it was a positive sign that Arsenal can grind out wins. And most of them are deserved, to be fair. We deserve to beat United. I know United fans will say that, but we deserve to beat you. We had more chances, could have killed you off. It wasn't amazing, but we had the better chances. And if you're going to go off that, the whole XG model, we were the better team, right? Cool. Slightly, but we're the better team. Most of the games we played this year, we deserved to win, apart from maybe Forest, where they had a few little chances towards the end. So we're not playing amazingly, but we're getting the job done. And then slowly, hopefully, as the season progresses, we start to peak like Man City do, where they don't start off amazingly and they slowly get into the rhythm. Rather than last year, where you get 50 points in the first half of the season and then, it all falls apart. We need to slowly find our rhythm. But then again, I look at Chelsea, I look at United, I see the faces a bit glum, no smiles, and I feel good about myself again. It reminds me that, there's still a level between.
Yeah, there is. I can't lie. There is a level up between, man. But I suppose with Arsenal, man, it's just kind of getting the wins in. I'm looking at your fixtures as well. Yes. You've got the North London derby coming up after this game, so it's important. In between, you got Arsenal, PSV at home. Then you got Tottenham at home. Then you got Brentford away, Bournemouth away, Lens away before the international break.
Chelsea away,
Arsenal, Chelsea, Sevilla, okay.
And City as well.
So before the international break, man, it's okay.
Big games coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the international break comes in around about, I think it's after the 8th of October. So then you got Sevilla. Yeah, man. It's listen, Arsenal. You never know. You never know, man. You
Yeah, of
never know.
course, you're always a one defeat away
So
from a crisis, especially in football nowadays, where one defeat and the fans will start bringing Havertz out banners and stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true, man. That's true. What's Tobe saying in the chat? No
Violating
tan
your
yet. He went
tan,
on
mate.
holiday, bro. Don't worry, man. I've got a tan, man. Don't worry,
I was with
man.
Tobe
The
yesterday,
camera doesn't
man.
give. Sorry.
I was with Turbs yesterday, man. He was a sound guy, you know.
Yeah, man.
He's wham, I'll tell
doing
you
your
that.
stuff,
He's
man.
a wham guy, bro. I need some gym tips, bro. Give me that workout routine, guy. He's wham.
Yeah, man. Get your. That's what I'm saying. Tobes needs to put our working for a program out there. You get me? Like the footballing workout program. You get me? For the content creators, man. Shout out to Tobes. Listen, I think for me, ultimately, Arsenal need to just play better football and just a bit more convincing. I think now it's
Yeah.
about style, innit? I know people say they're getting the wins in, but I think style as well is a good thing as well, man. So, listen, man. I think for me, it's man said soon come, lad, soon come. Say no more. Say no more. I wanted to touch on a couple of other teams before we wrap up and whatnot. There's over 700 of you in here. Make sure you like the video, people, man. It's not hard to like the video. It just helps the channel out, get some more people out there. You know what? Let's give some. Tobe's in here, but Tottenham are in the conversation. Tottenham. I've been thinking, they got one game a week, and I changed my predictions. By the way, I put Tottenham to finish above Chelsea. I think for me, one game a week. I'm looking at the way Andrew's coming. I think they could get that fifth position, and then Chelsea. Unfortunately for you, mate, finish sixth here. But I'm looking at Tottenham right now. If they win this game and then they go into that North London derby.
Yeah.
And by the way, you've got a game in that midweek, by the way. You've got a game in midweek, so obviously you're a bit kind of, I'm not saying you're knackered, but you know what I mean? You
It's
one
a good game, though,
less.
It's a home game.
It's a good game as well. Yeah. Listen,
it's a decent competition.
I'm sure you'll be all right. But you know what? Like, Tottenham this season, if they can build momentum, like I said to you, what are you, man, saying? Like, are you, put your bias aside, because now they've got two tough fixtures after this. They've got Sheffield United at home, and they've got Arsenal and Liverpool back to back. So we may see where Tottenham are. Are they, or are they, Tottenham?
Well, they haven't played anyone. They haven't played anyone good yet, have they, mate? So
United.
They played United. United, they have to beat United. It's one of them. They have to beat United.
Yeah,
I don't know. Spurs are interesting, though, aren't they? Like, they've obviously started well, but because it's Tottenham, everyone just expects them to fall away. It's, I don't know. I find it hard. Like, I think, look, my big thing would be, I still don't know if they've got enough goals in the team. And by that, I mean, Richarlison's not going to score you that many goals. You're going to have to rely on Son to get back to his golden boot winning form, because the wide forwards don't chip in with an awful lot of goals. Kulusevski might get a few. Be interesting to see how Brennan Johnson does. Maddison will get you a few.
Yeah,
but
Maddison. Yeah.
Can they get enough people to step up to replace the goals that have left through Harry Kane? That would be my big thing. The midfield looks better balanced. Basuma's come in. Sarr looks good as well. When Bentancur comes back, I think that'll be a pretty decent midfield. One thing, they didn't sign enough centre backs for me in the window. They're one injury away from Eric Dyer playing at centre back. Like that's asking for problems. You're not coming top 5 if you play an Eric Dyer at centre back.
Yeah.
So I think they're improving, but I still think there's quite a few limitations in that team.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think they're better profile than Chelsea. So looking at their players, they're far better profile, far better balance.
Yeah,
you know their best players are. Whereas Chelsea don't know who's going to start. They know who's starting. Yeah. And you talk about goals, but I think they've got multiple goal threats. I think Son can easily be a 15 to 20 goal season forward, just because of his finishing being that elite. Manus will make chances for him. He'll score goals, maybe 10 a season as well. And then, you look at the new signings. If they can get 5 goals each, and if Richarlison can score a few more goals, they've got enough goals there. They're a decent team. Nothing special, but a decent team. Yeah. That's a lot of money there.
He's got to produce.
He's got to score some goals.
Madison's the key, man. I love Maddison. I think Maddison and Son. If Maddison can feed Son, and Son plays that central role, and he can feed him in, boy, they're gonna have fun, man. I really do. They're gonna have fun over there. It just depends on whether they can stay fit, Maddison, because he has these little niggles here and there that that I think for me is and it is as well. If them lot get injured, and as well, Bentancur coming in when the Afan comes in, it's a totally different Tottenham. Because then you've got Basuma out, Sarr out.
Basuma, and them two both.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we're doing
Yes,
something that every team has. Every team has players if they get injured that will happen. That's just football.
yeah.
City have
Well,
the same. If
Guardiola,
Rodri gets injured, who's playing? Calvin Phillips. You trust Calvin Phillips to win your league title?
We might play Nunes.
Yeah, Rodri
instead.
doesn't get injured, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Players,
So
they get players that don't get injured as well. When Man City, have you noticed them yet? Apart from De Bruyne, they buy players that don't get injured.
no, but Haaland
You know
was the
what I mean?
same, injury prone, and look at him now. He starts every game.
Starts every game, yeah. Like,
I think
bro, I'm telling you now,
it's the
man.
fitness regimes, bro.
When you get high standards and when you get like a team that is just functioning
Proper, yeah.
well, man, and any problem doesn't become a problem. They got Nunes as well. They just bought Nunes in, so they're chilling, bro. They're chilling,
But he's
man.
not a six, though.
They're-
He's not going to play.
No,
in
I'm saying he's an 8. He's an 8.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying they can play a double
City are a
pivot.
top
Play a
team.
double
Yeah,
pivot.
we know they're a top team. You don't need to keep saying that. It's boring at this point.
Yeah. Well, listen. Yeah, I mean, I'm just letting you know, man, what the situation is,
Yeah,
man.
it's true, it's
Unfortunately, they are boring, but they are doing the business. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. But like I said, I think Tottenham should win this weekend. Man City should win, even though I think West Ham's a difficult game.
That'd be a difficult
And
one
Liverpool,
away,
man.
West Ham.
Ooh.
Sorry. Yeah,
Liverpool,
Liverpool.
West Ham.
You know,
Liverpool, where it was.
well, they don't play well 12:30 kickoffs, you know. Liverpool, you know. When you look at their record,
Yeah,
I think they
Klopp's
lost
crying about
to
it.
Brighton. They did not lose to Brighton. They lost to Nottingham Forest last season. They lost to, I think it was it Bournemouth they lost to. Did they lose to Bournemouth
Yeah,
last
look at
season as well?
Bournemouth. Yeah.
Bournemouth as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
after they beat you, yeah.
yeah. I literally after the 7-0, I was like, yo, what are you man on? What are you man saying?
All the
Like, I
cherry
was
cooks out.
shameless, but yeah, man, the cherry cooks were out, man. So I can't lie, yeah. I think for me, Liverpool, I feel like nobody's taking them seriously because of their defense, but ultimately they're still a threat, though, isn't it? Like
Like,
they
their
got
attacking
Ferrari
power is
in the
a joke.
front.
Like, it's
Yeah,
so
their attack
good going
overpower is a
forward.
joke, man. So
Yeah, good team. Not title winning, but good team.
Be interesting to see how
Yeah, good team.
Gravenberch fits in as well, isn't it? Like how he fits into that midfield when he eventually plays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got
that's a
some
good one as well.
profiles, but that defense is a bit shambolic.
yeah, it's apparently Van Dijk's still not available, is he? And
Yeah,
Trent,
man.
Trent injured, by the way.
Yeah, Trent's
Is he?
out.
Ooh. Yeah, Trent's out.
Trent's out. So he's playing right back there. Gomez.
Joe Gomez.
And then will he
Matip,
be
Oh,
what?
and
Canate.
who's playing centre back?
Yeah.
Canate,
Canate,
yeah, bro. If only they had someone there, Neto or something like. If Neto can do something, like we never
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like you know.
Now they got
Guedes-
that striker, innit? They got that
Cunha.
tall ass
Cunha?
6'7" striker.
Yeah.
Wolves. What was her
Oh,
name?
Kala-
Is it
Kala-
Kalajic?
Kalajdzic.
Kalajic,
Elijah,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, what have you got for us, man? Before I go to the game on Saturday, yeah, I want to know that Liverpool have lost, man. That would be beautiful, man. But I just don't see it, man. I think they're gonna win the game.
No,
I
I
think
think they'll
Wolves,
win.
Yeah.
they're toothless. They're toothless, man. I just don't think they've got enough goals in them. But listen,
you-
we'll find
you-
out. We'll
you-
find out.
You ain't given your Brighton prediction yet, mate.
Oh,
2-1.
can I just
2-1.
say, is that 3 p.m.?
Yeah, 3 p.m. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a joke. That's a joke. How is that
Why?
3 p.m.? Why is that 3 p.m. game? That should be an on TV live TV game.
Yeah,
Why
it
is that
should
3
be. You know
p.m.?
what that-
Why have they hidden
I
that
know.
game? That's a
We've
proper
got a lot
two
of them,
top
you know.
teams.
You know our
that's
games
BS,
lately
man.
are 3 p.m.s. Like we've got, I think only next week we got Burnley away at 8 p.m. That's crazy.
8
Saturday
p.m.
on 8 p.m.
Saturday. Nah,
So what's the
that's-
5:30 game?
5:30. It's Brentford
tomorrow.
versus Newcastle.
Oh,
Newcastle.
that's the 5:30 game. Oh, that's a disgrace. That's a disgrace.
Yeah, Brentford Newcastle. Yeah, that's
Because you guys could
that's
get
5:30
piped
game.
by Brighton potentially. I'm not saying you will, but you could. No one's going to see it until match of the
God,
day.
yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? But then
Sure.
obviously that's what you know. What I mean, I
Sure.
just want to stay out of the way. I want to stay out of the way because
Yeah, of course,
who's
of
playing
course.
at 3 o'clock? Who's playing at 3 o'clock? Man City are playing. Who else is playing
Yeah.
that time? Chelsea. Are
Man City-
playing. No,
no,
Chelsea.
we're Sunday. It's Sunday at 2.
Yeah, we're Sunday.
So who's really playing then? So it's not really as if like we're not, you know, Tottenham are playing.
But 3
that's
p.m.
it,
kickoffs are
and
not
West
available
Ham.
to watch in the UK, so you have to
Can't
find
watch
out
any of
some
them.
dodgy
Yeah.
ass. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But listen, people, we're gonna wrap it up here, man. It's been a good hour show. Please do smash the like button on the video. It doesn't cost you a penny. You know what I mean? It helps the channel out massively. So if you're watching right now, hit the like button. Babs, it's been a pleasure, bro. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, man. No worries, man. I've got my camera sorted. Next week we'll be fine.
Yeah, next week. Yeah. Next week, people, the camera will be back, man. Charlie, big up to you, man, for coming on as usual.
Nah, thanks for having me, bro. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man, definitely. People, apologies, obviously, on the guests. Henry couldn't make it. Huey couldn't make it. And Drifty couldn't make it, but listen, these things happen in life, but we move in it, and the show must go on. I'll be back in half an hour. We're playing Bayern Munich on Wednesday, so we need to watch out what they're doing, innit? So Bayern Munich are playing Bayern Leverkusen. It's a derby, and you know what, Xabi Alonso, what have you got for me, man? I want to see what you got, but ultimately, I want to see what Bayern Munich have got, because if they destroy Bayern Leverkusen, then it ain't easy. It really, really ain't easy. So I'll see you in about half an hour for the watch along, people. Take care.